Okay, we're going to have a little look at some snaps. Now, these are what are sometimes called S-clips or spring clip snaps. And when they're fitted, that's what the inside looks like. It's a slightly different. There are two different sorts of metal snaps, and I'll show you the other sort of metal snaps in a different video, which I will load up fairly shortly. So that's the inside. The outside, they snap quite easily together. On this one is plain. The back has a sort of a hole in it. So I have got some that don't have a hole. They have a flat back, but it's exactly the same technique to fit them. So there we go, metal snaps. Now these come in 4 parts. You will have the front of the snap, which these ones are plain. I've got them in various different colours. I've also got some with sort of decorating on the front. And then that part, which goes with the front. So those are a pair. And then you will have the back part. So this is the back part. And they look very similar, but one's got a much sort of taller stem on it than the other. And those two go together. Now, when you buy these, often they come with the tools that you need. So you'll have a small plate to fit them onto, a hole cutting implement, and 2 tools. And they each have a slightly different end. This one's kind of pointy, thin and pointy, and this one has a dip inside, a recess. So let's do some highly technical folding. And we're going to make a hole at one end. So you can see I've made a hole through my faux leather. I'm going to insert the bit that looks like a shiny drawing pin or thumbtack through the hole, and it should fit snugly. With most hardware that you're actually making a hole and fitting it through, if you don't make the hole that you're fitting it through nice and snug, your hardware will move about. So, you know, cut your holes an appropriate size. Now we're going to turn the fitting plate over, because this one's got a knobbly side and a sort of a curved side, and we want that nice smooth bit to fit into the curved side. So I'm going to pop that face down. Then I'm going to take the second half, and I'm just going to place it over the top of the stem that we've got in the middle. Now, what I need is the thinner part, and I'm going to place that into the stem. Now, if I can hold this up, perhaps you can see that the stem is sitting centrally within. There's a sort of a little bit of wire either side, and that's the S-clip. That's what kind of holds the thing closed when it's fitted. So the little stem should be sitting nice and centrally in the middle. And you're going to pop, now I always call this a nipple. I'm pretty sure that's not what it's called, but there's a little tiny bit on the end of that fitting tool that I'm going to literally pop into the stem through the hole. Hold that tool at 90 degrees. If you hold it slightly off 90 degrees, that's when you're going to find you have a problem fitting. So once you've got it sitting there nicely, a couple of firm whacks, pull your tool out, and that's fitted. Really simple. This is a spreader bar, a spreader tool. It spreads the stem to hold that in place. So let's now make another hole at the other end for the other end of our snap. And I'm going to pop the back, which is the longer part, through the hole. And this is usually quite tough because it's actually wider. I'm going to turn my little base plate over, because we want this hole to fit over that sort of little bit in the middle of the base plate. take your second piece and lay it over, and it looks a bit like a little hat. So you're fitting effectively what looks like a sombrero, I guess, over the top of the stem. And you're going to use the concave end, so the end with the hollow, and it should fit nicely over the top of that little sombrero that you've just put on. Again, holding it at 90 degrees. It's really essential that you hold these things at 90 degrees to the plate that you've got on the bottom. A couple of wax, and there we are. It's all fitted. And I can just clip that together and unclip it. And people say, have they got a use in bag making? Yes, of course they have. A lot of bags have sides that are folded in. You can use these to fold them in, and they look quite cool, and they, you know, they're quite sturdy. So if you've made a bag out of something that's fairly thick, like faux leather, you want something that's going to hold it in. Little plastic snaps or sometimes magnetic fasteners are just not enough to hold things together. So those are, so they're called, referred to as spring clips or S-clip metal snaps.